Today we are making a video on RisiOS. Here is the RisiOS, which is based on Fedora, Linux, and RisiOS Live 37. This is the boot menu of RisiOS. So let's boot it in a live mode. It's going to take a maximum of 1 minute to boot up to the desktop layout. So it's a usual timing of the Linux distro, which will take like a maximum of a minute and a minimum of 30 to 40 seconds if it's lightweight or the ISO file is good. So it's going to take 30 to 40 seconds of a minimum and a minute of maximum. So I'm running it on a virtual machine, which is a VMware with 80 GB of hard disk and 4 GB of RAM and with 2 processors. So this Linux is based on Fedora, so it should take a few more seconds, I guess. And here is our RisiOS welcome screen, not the welcome screen but the logo loading here. Just a few more seconds to the desktop to pop up on our screen. So we need to wait for a few more seconds and we should be having our RisiOS 37. I think this released in January of 2023. So we don't see anything here. We should be seeing a mouse pointer soon. And here is the black screen. It should take like a few more seconds, almost like 30 to 40 seconds as I mentioned before. I think the desktop environment should be GNOME. And here is our RisiOS. You have two options like Fedora OS, like you can boot it in a live mode and install to hard drive directly. It's always a good idea to boot it in a live mode first. If you're satisfied, then go to installation. You need to use it in a live mode like for hours. If you find any bugs, you better stay with the live mode. If you didn't find anything like any bugs or something like that, you better go with the installation afterwards. If you feel safe or if you don't find any bugs, you can go with installation, because it's going to ruin if you add any bugs like that. So it's better to boot in always in a live mode. So let's try live mode. You can choose install to hard drive in the activities overview at any time later. You can choose the installation after that. You will see there. First let's change the display settings because it's not proper here. Mine is 1920 x 1080 monitor, so let's choose the 1920 x 1080 with a 16:9 ratio and click apply. It's going to change the display. I'm running it on a VMware, which I already mentioned. If you can't see the text or font size, you can scale it up to 200%, and the best combination is a 1920 x 1080 with a 200% will be pretty much big font and bold. So let's check the about the Linux distro info, and the device name is localhost live. I'm running it on a live mode, so that's the name. You can change the device name later. And the graphics is here, and the disk capacity is 80 GB, and OS name is RisiOS 37, the beautiful code name. GNOME version is not available right now, but it will available in few seconds. Windows system is Wayland, virtualization is VMware. So let's close this thing and open the system monitor. We need to open the system monitor before opening any apps, because we need to understand how much resources will be consumed before and after the using the apps. So you will get an idea of how much resources are consumed before and after. I'll show you in the beginning of the video and I'll show you the ending of the video, so you will get an idea of how much RAM is consumed, how much CPU is consumed. So let's go to the resources. RAM is almost 1.6 GB, which is pretty much bad because we didn't open any apps already. It's almost 1.6 GB of 40%, and CPU is almost good, which is under 20%, which is good in my opinion. So let's change the color so you can see the graph properly. There is a high peak in the beginning. It's pretty common, and the stable is going right now. And the RAM is almost 1.6 GB. In my opinion, it's pretty much bad. People who has a low-end PC, it doesn't work with you, because if you having a 2 GB of RAM, so it's almost 1.6 GB. If you open just one or two app, it's going to lag pretty much very badly. So it depends on you if you want to use it or not. It's clearly up to you. If you ask me, I don't recommend this thing because there are a lot of lightweight Linux distro for 2 GB of RAM and a low-end PC, so you better go with it. If you can't choose this thing, you can go check out my channel. I made almost like a 1550 videos on every type of Linux distros. You will get an answer there without struggling. So these are all the processors running right now, and the RAM is 1.6 GB and the CPU is here. So let's close it and open the terminal for the distro info. Let's type in few commands and get the distro info completely. And the NeoFetch is automatically launched. The OS is RisiOS, kernel is 6.0.16, and uptime is 5 minutes. It's taking a lot of time, or maybe it should be the info they are providing. So let's type in the NeoFetch and see if it's available or not. NeoFetch command is not found, so let's type in few commands like inxi-sv8 for full distro info. We should be having a full distro info here. So host is a live edition, a kernel is 6.0.16-300, Fedora 37, which is based on Fedora 37. Architecture is 64-bit, as you can see here. A compiler GCC version is 2.38-25 FC37. FC37 is a Fedora 37. GNOME version is a 43.2. When we saw in the settings that it isn't available there, but it is available here. You can see here 43.2. GTK version is a 3.24.36. GNOME Shell GDM version is a 43.0. Distro is a RisiOS release 37. The codename is Beautiful. I'm running it on a virtual machine, so it says VMware. RAM is 3.8 GB. It's 4 GB of RAM, but it shows like this. And used RAM is 1.49, which is almost 40%. And here is my CPU. If you want to know my CPU, here is the info. And here are the available display resolutions and some info if you want. Let's scroll it down. And INXI version is a 3.3.24, GCC is a 12.2.1, Shell ZSH version is a 5.9, uptime is 6 minutes, systemd version is a 251. Let's type in few more commands like INXI, and here is the info. Let's type in another command which is INXI-b, small b, and here are some info if you want to. Xarch version is 22.1.7, Xwayland version is 22.1.7, Mesa is 22.3.2, OpenGL version is 4.1. And let's type in few more commands like INXI-G, and here is some info. Let's type in another command which is cat:/etc/issue and hit enter. And let's type in htop. If it's available, it should. Htop is not available. No problem. Let's check the version of the terminal. Version 3.45.90 for GNOME 43. So let's open something like installer. I'll show you the installation process. I'm not going to install it. I'm just going to show you the formality of installation. So if you want to install it, you will have an idea of how to install. Always better try it in a live mode. After you're satisfied, then go with installation. It's a basic common knowledge, because if they had bugs, it's going to ruin your PC. So I don't want you to ruin your PC. It's always better idea to boot it in a live mode. So let's choose the language as English. You can choose any other language if you want. I'm going to choose the English language. There are a lot of plenty languages available here. Click on continue. It should take a few more seconds. Again, it's the same installation process of a Fedora. So keyboard is already set, and the installation destination. Mine is 80 GB of a hard disk in a VMware or virtualization. So click on done, which is if it's good. So it should be like this. If it's bad, it's going to show like a red text. And the time and date, choose any location. You don't need to provide your actual location. I'm going to choose the American Los Angeles. Click on done, and this is the installation process. You just click on begin installation. It should take like a 20 minutes of a maximum, or minimum like a 5 to 10 minutes. Completely depends on your PC or the Linux distro if it's good. So it's going to take like that timings. So again, there after the installation, it's going to say reboot your system, and after rebooting, it should be installed on your hard disk. That's the installation process, nothing like that. So let's quit it. And I'm going to show you their official website. Let's open the internet browser. The default internet browser in the RisiOS should be Chromium. Again, Chromium browser should take a lot of time because it's a Chrome browser. You know how much time should Chrome browser will take usually. And we have our luck, it opened pretty much fast. About Chromium, it should be 112. No, it's 107. The latest version is 112. So let's type in the official website search term, which is RisiOS, and click on enter. This is the URL, which is risi.io. If you want to type in the URL, this is the URL, which is almost short. You can remember that URL. And if you want to read anything, you can read through their website. This is their website. If you want any info, you can go through all these things. Here is the release note of risiOS 37. So here are the downloads, blog, shop. You can go through all these things. I'm not going to go all through these things. I just want to go to the downloads. Here are the minimum requirements, system requirements to use this Linux distro, which is 2 GHz dual core processor or faster, 2 GB of system RAM, 15 GB of unallocated drive space. When we are using the Linux distro, 2 GB system RAM should be. It's a bad idea because it's going to completely lag. We already saw that in the beginning of the video. Without opening any apps, it was almost 1.6 GB. So I don't recommend to have 2 GB of RAM. It's always a good idea to be having a 4 GB of RAM. So here are the requirements, and here are the download mirrors. You can download it with Seattle, official Seattle. This is a Shazam Checksum. If you want to verify your ISO file, you can verify. And if you want to download with a torrent, you can download it with a torrent. And here are the links. I am just going to go with the GitHub download because GitHub is safe. And here is the version. The latest version is 37.1.1, which was released on 2023-0105, which I'm using. The version is this thing. Release notes is here, and the ISO file is here. The file size of the ISO is 1.9 GB completely, almost 1.9 GB. And here is our downloads. So as you can see, I'm using a VPN, so it's slow for me. So let's close this thing, and let's see what are the apps which comes pre-installed. Almost nothing, just some important apps. That's it. There is no other apps other than the GNOME desktop environment apps, and OnlyOffice is installed. That's it. Nothing than that. So here is a risiWelcome. Let's open this thing and see. First steps, you need to see all these things. If you want to use this Linux distro, it's a good idea to see all these things. I don't want to see all the things. So here is the GNOME desktop environment features, same things. So let's open the software manager and see the versions of the installed apps here. Instead of opening all the apps, it's better to see it here at once. The GNOME project is a 43.2. Let's check on the installed apps. It's going to take a lot of time. Instead of waiting this, let's quickly launch wants the apps here, only Office. Let's close this thing. We saw the version, so it's not to use. Again, only Office is taking a lot of time. Let's open the risiTweaks. Here are the tweaks. Only Office opened. Here are the tweaks. If you want to customize your Linux distro, you can customize here. Layout, mouse and keyboard, Windows, UI, extensions, all the things. If you want to go through all the things, you can go here and customize it on your own. So let's close it and check the version of only Office. The version is 7.2.1.36 RPM packages. So let's close this thing. Again, as you can see here, there's a bit of lag. Not a lot of lag here, just minor seconds there, mini seconds like that. About the text editor, which should be 43.1, because the desktop environment is a GNOME 43 and the apps from the GNOME desktop environment version should be 43. Almost every app here should be 43 and 0.123. That's the difference. Nothing is difference here. So I think that's it for the video. I think we covered everything. Web apps. Let's open web apps and end the video. If you want to install the web apps, you just need to provide the URL there. Like for example, I'm just going to use YouTube as my URL. This is the name you need to provide, and you need to type in youtube.com, or you can copy the URL and just put it here, and you can change the icon by downloading the icon of the YouTube, and you will be having a YouTube web apps here. You already know. If you don't know that, you can go through my previous videos of Manjaro or Linux Mint. I think I made it on a Linux Mint, I guess. So let's check the version of the file manager. We didn't see the file manager version there. 43.1. So I think that's it for the video. Let's open the system monitor and I'll show you the resources, which is almost 2.4 GB. As you can see, I already mentioned or already said that just opening a few apps, it's going to go through almost 2.4 GB. If you are having a 2 GB of RAM, it's a better idea to not go with this Linux distro, because 2 GB of RAM is almost will be pretty much so laggy, and it should be a torture for you. So it's better not go with this thing and go with some lightweight Linux distros. If you want to go with a lightweight Linux distros, there are plenty of videos I made. You can go to my channel and check it out. And the CPU, as you can see, CPU is also going crazy. The graph is almost like a high peak, low peak. There is no low peak, there is a mid peak and a high peak. And this is the info that will keep you away from this Linux distro. I don't hate it because it's taking a lot of resources. It's not a good idea to recommend to my viewers. So that's my point here. If you want to try it, you can try it. I don't force you to not to try it. So it's clearly up to you. You the one who should check this and judge the Linux distro. I'm just going to give the info. It's clearly up to you. If you want to use it, you can use it. If you don't want, it's clearly up to you. So this part is only for the viewers who want to watch my content without subscribing. People who already subscribe, no need to watch this step. So let's type in youtube.com/9to5linux. This is the URL you need to type in your web browser, whether it's your TV or a mobile or a tab. If you're using a web browser in any of these devices, you need to type in the complete URL like a youtube.com/9to5linux to watch my content every day without subscribing. So if you are using a YouTube app in any devices, just type in 9to5linux. If you're using a YouTube app, just in your mobile TV or a tab, just type in 9to5linux, which will take directly to my channel. So let's click on enter. I'm using a VPN. It should take a few seconds. If you are not using a VPN, it should instantly open this thing. So here is my channel. Let's pause the video. And if you are here only for the Linux content, just go to the playlist you will see a Linux playlist here. I almost made like a 1.5k videos. To go to the Linux playlist, click on view full playlist, and the playlist should be opened here. Like almost I made like a 1554 videos, which is almost 1.5k videos. I almost cover like a 70 to 80% of different types of Linux distros and various types of Linux distros. uh, so if you want to play all, you can shuffle, do anything you want. I don't have any problem. So again, if you want to type in the specific Linux distro or a specific system, for example MX Linux as an example, let's click on enter, and the latest videos will be available here, whether it's a alpha version, development version, beta version, pre-release, whatever it is. As soon as the ISO file is released, the latest news will be available here. I'll provide the latest news, the latest content as soon as the ISO file is released. You don't need to be waiting for some other channel. The latest news will be available in my channel. If you want to go to other channel, you can visit their channel. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to force you to wait here. So it's your opinion. So about, and when we go to about, I will be posting 2 videos daily without missing any day. And this is the timings. I didn't miss any day, like almost 6 years, just 2 or 3 days, that's it. I almost made content every day. These are the timing you need to visit at this timing to watch my content. The content will be available before the timings, because I will be putting the videos in a premiere mode or a premiere, so you will be having an idea of what the content will be available that day. And here is the community, and you should be viewing this, because, or you should put an eye on it, because I will be giving news of the latest packages and the latest Linux distros here. So it's better to keep an eye on this thing. And if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. If you don't want, it's clearly up to you. I respect your opinion. It's clearly up to you. So let's close this thing and end this video. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out. I already made another video of Vaha Linux, which is a latest Linux. I don't know much of that Linux distro, but I made a content on it. If you want to see that content, you can see that with this Linux distro. It's available today, because I make 2 videos daily. So again, thanks for watching. So let's power it off and end the video.